Bang, we should be live right now. I'll put that away. Let me just go double check my channel and make sure that we are indeed live. I believe that we probably are. Nope, not yet.
Oh, yeah, I see live on my end.
There it is. I clicked it too fast. Okay, cool. So now I can go over here and I should be able to pop out the chat. Let me see if I can do that. Pop out the chat. Now I can actually put this away. And then, so there's the chat. And everything that's on my screen should be broadcasting. Oops.
Yep.
Except I expanded that thing. Let me see. I want the chat on the front. Let's just see if I can blow this up a little bit.
I'm gonna try to see if I can send a link to Claire's chat as well, so that they don't have to listen to the fucking homos they're currently
What I need to do is probably go and actually retitle. That's what I need to do is yes. Let me edit the title of this.
Conop's still in stream, so
Not really sure what to call this. Good news. And interesting. With OV. I'll just leave it there. Good enough. I'm not big on titles.
yeah. I mean, they can be fun, but they're not necessarily super important,
What's COE on now on Claire's stream? What is
Oh,
that?
Church of Entropy.
Oh, Church of Entropy. Oh, got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, that fucking.
So
That
Claire's
fucking.
stream is still running because she probably went to sleep and it's just going
Yeah,
to burn itself out.
she fell asleep. Yeah.
Who can blame her? I mean, it's 10 o'clock my time. Add 5 hours, it's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning her time.
Dude, she streams. She has no set schedule. So, I mean.
Let me see. You know what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually. I don't actually need to do that. Put that away. Let me see. If I just turn my camera on, that should be sufficient, I think. No? Yes? No? No? Yes? It's not working.
I can still hear you, but it's I don't see any video or anything.
Yeah,
Just the same avatar.
I'm trying to, yeah, on Hangouts, I'm clicking the camera icon and it's not turning my camera on. It doesn't matter. I can do it in OBS. I can go to the OBS screen and show you what I want to show you. And it's not so much you specifically. It's just something I wanted to share with everybody on who is interested in, me and whatever, me, me and my stuff. So let me see. If I go here, I should be able to. There we go. So I should be able to. There we go. Blow this up. Oh, look at my hair. It's terrible. It's terrible anyway. There we go. There's my big ugly mug with my big Jew nose. All right, you got me. You can see my face and my screen.
You're almost making me want to show my my swastika in the background.
Yeah, don't do that.
I've done it before,
All
but
right.
you know.
Look, the reason I turned my camera on and turn it on so large is because I want to share this, some of my paperwork. I want to share a story that happened to me, and it's pretty interesting what has just happened because I got a letter in the mail today from the hospital, and it's actually good news. Good news for me, that is. But I'm going to try and do it without doxing myself because I tried to make a video today on this subject, and I was filming myself talking, and then I started filming the pages of my medical paperwork, and then I got done and I reviewed it before I uploaded it, and I was like, holy shit, your full name and address is all visible, and it's like, you don't, okay, so I didn't upload. I about doxed myself. So, okay, here's the story. I have a
Yeah,
friend.
go for it.
I have a friend. My wife and I have a friend who is doing some out of town stuff, and occasionally she's got to go out of town. And she's got a couple of dogs, and we pet sit her dogs. Okay,
Hmm.
and so one of her dogs is this really old dog, and he's like mostly blind.
Big dog, little dog.
He little, not like pug size, but you know he's about a foot and a half tall. You know
Hmm.
he's not like a lab size.
Yeah, yeah,
But he's bigger than a pug. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know what breed he is. Some kind of terrier.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, he's old as fuck. He's old as dirt, and he's mostly blind and probably all the way deaf. Um, and I've got a little pond in my backyard. Okay.
Hmm.
So in my pond, I've got a couple of shelves, and I've got some water plants. One of those water plants is called horsetail, and it puts out these grassy tendrils that look like this. Okay, I'll give you a white background so you can see clearly.
Wait, wait. What? The tendrils look like? What?
They're,
Sorry. Yeah,
are you seeing my screen?
yeah. I see that. Yeah.
They're like 3 foot long. They're little tubular grassy tendrils, and they're like 3 feet long. They're really long, but
Hmm.
they're sharp. Look at that. Look,
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
they're like fucking cactus needles. Try to get this in the camera view. They're sharp as fuck, and the very tip of these things are they're these little needles. You see, this one is like bent. Hopefully, the camera's.
Yeah, yeah. I see it. Yeah.
It's got a little bent tip, and it's they're brown, dead tips, and they're sharp and hard. And if you touch it, it breaks off real easy. And they're sharp as fuck, and they're like cactus needles. Okay, here's one
Yeah.
that hasn't been fucked with, and it's sorry, I got to work left opposite direction.
Yeah. No
When
problem.
I move right, my image goes left. So they're. Let me try to do this. God damn it! What the hell? There. Come on, camera. All right. So if you touch that thing, just barely touch it, it like goes into this little angular. It breaks off. All right. They're sharp. You get it. You get it.
Hmm.
So this old fucking dog wandered into my pond, and I bent down to pick him up out of the pond, and it was right next to this plant. It's called a horsetail. And I took one of those fucking things right in my eyeball, in my right eye. And it was fucking horrible. It was like a cactus needle in the eyeball. And
Oh, yeah. Oh, crazy. Yeah.
so after many hours of rubbing and crying and tearing and an entire bottle of eye wash later, I decided this isn't happening. This is fucking horrible. I need to see somebody. And it was like 9:30 at night. So who the fuck is open but the emergency room? So that's where I went.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to the emergency room, and here's what they did. Have you ever had an ear doctor look in your ear? Right? they have this thing that looks like a battery pack, and it's a magnifying glass on one end, and it tapers down to a sharp little point with a
Yep.
light.
Yeah.
Okay, you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing they look in your fucking ear with.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they used. Okay, so at 9:30 at night, I go into the emergency room. There's literally no one there, so it's not like I was holding anybody up. I walked in, I told them my name, they typed it in. Bang, is this your address? They knew immediately who I was. Took me into a room instantly. There was no waiting. Okay, so it was like boom, bada bing. I'm in a room. So I've got these two intern guys. One guy is putting the thing on my arm. He's doing the blood pressure. The other guy is asking me, "Do you drink? Do you smoke? How often? Are you allergic to drugs? Whatever." Entering stuff in the computer and basic shit. A few minutes later, a doctor, finally comes in, a female, and she uses one of those things that they look in your ears with. Okay, that's all she fucking had. And I'm no dummy. I knew damn good and well that this fucking thing right here with that little tiny broken tip, if you can see it right now, I'm trying to there.
Yep.
I knew damn good and well that that little tiny broken tip
Yeah.
was not going to be easy to find because my eye is all, the bloodshot, right? All the veins in my eyes are all puffed up, and you're looking for this tiny, tiny little fucking thing among bloodshot veins. So I brought a couple of these things. I took like 2 or 3 of these fucking things in the emergency room with me so I could tell the doctor, this is what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to make it easy
Yeah. Yeah.
because I knew it was not going to be easy to find. So I brought them with me. This is what you're looking for. All right. So she's using some insufficient equipment. It's like the thing they look in your fucking ear with. It's just a magnifying glass.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they give me numbing drops to, ease the pain so I'm not wincing and I can open my damn eye and she can look at it. And then she gives me a couple of drops of something that made my eyeball fluoresce. So basically any scratches or any damage to the eye under a black light would show up and would fluoresce. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
So she put a couple of drops of numbing stuff, and then she looks around for like 30 seconds with that ear device, and she doesn't see anything. And so she puts a couple of drops of some fluorescent stuff, hits me with a black light, and she can go, oh, well, you can see scratches, I can see a puncture wound, yada, yada. She says, I think you're just, irritated. I don't see anything. I think you're just, scratched and irritated. And I'm telling her, I feel it. I can feel it moving. I feel the fucking thing relocate. I know it's not. And she's like, I think it's just blah, blah, blah. It's just scratch. So basically what she did was she gave me one Percocet, and then she gave me, a prescription for some Percocet just for
Oh
pain.
wow. Yeah.
And that was it. They released me. That was the service that I got. Right? So I don't have insurance. So at the time of, checkout, the accountant comes to me and she says, what's your insurance information? I said, I'm a self-pay. I don't have insurance. And she goes, okay, $300. Okay, pull out my fucking credit card or my debit card, whatever, and I pay her $300. They give me my release papers. Thank you very much. You're out of here. 35 minutes in the emergency room. In and out. They didn't do anything. She didn't pull the fucking needle out. She didn't find it. And all I got was a couple of numbing drops, a couple of drops of some fluorescent shit, and a Percocet, and a prescription for more Percocet. That's what I got.
But the problem was never, it wasn't solved.
No,
Right?
she didn't find anything. She
Yeah.
couldn't see it. She didn't remove anything. So so I get out of the hospital. The numbing drop. She hit me with numbing drops before I left. So that only lasts like 20 minutes. So 20 minutes after I leave the hospital, it's starting to fucking bug the shit out of me again, and I can tell it's moving around. I know there's something in there, and I'm like, this is fucked up. And so I got maybe an hour's sleep that night, and then maybe 2 hours sleep the next night. Okay, so 3 fucking days, and I got maybe 3-ish hours of sleep in 3 days. So I lost 2 days worth of work. I spent $300 at the emergency room, and then I had to go to the optometrist which cost me another $100
Yeah.
for the first visit. And she got it out. You know, you put your chin on that thing, and they have an actual magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and she fucking and at the optometrist, I'm sitting there in the waiting room, and I got my fingers on my eyeball like this because it's the only way that I could open up my other eye. Right?
Yeah.
For some reason, if I held pressure on both corners, it gave me enough relief that I could actually open my other eye because you know your eyes work together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at the optometrist, I'm sitting there, and I'm like this, and the girl comes out and she goes, "Are you in pain?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Would you want some numbing drops?" I said, "No. I want to be able to tell the doctor where it is. There's something in my eye, and if you numb me up, I won't feel shit. I want to be able to tell her it's up here, it's down there, it moved,
Right.
it's over here, look over here, it's up there, it's down there." I wanted to be
Yeah.
able to tell her where the fuck to look because it's this tiny little thing, and she needs to know where to look. And so that no, I'm sorry, no, okay. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
so the optometrist very meticulously spent like 40 minutes, and my bill was $87. Okay, cool. So I had to go back for a follow-up visit. That also included an antibiotic drop that they gave me from the optometrist, and some other drop that the optometrist gave me. So all that was included, $87, and then I had to go back another $75 for a follow-up visit to make sure it was no infection or whatever. So another $150, $160 at the optometrist.
But
Okay.
so just to be clear, the optometrist got it out.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Good.
Uh,
I hope there's a good story or a good ending to this story.
you're gonna love this.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going.
So a month later, here I got a pile of paperwork I want to show you. I'm gonna try not to dox myself. I might have to black out some of this stuff here.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. 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 Don't worry about it.
I have to. Pardon me. I want to review this before I show it on camera because I almost doxed myself in my own video. All right, so
Well, I mean, you're already doxxed. You know, you've shown your face. You know, so you're already up shit's creek. So
I get a bill. Maybe you can see that. Let me know if you can read that number.
it's too small. It's too. Wait, I see I see a comma.
Uh-huh.
There's like a couple. It's in the thousands. Is
It's
what I.
1,096.
Yeah. 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 I see that. Yeah.
So a month later, I get a bill for $1,096 on top of the $300 that they already pulled out of me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the emergency room, and they basically do nothing for me. They don't find the debris. I showed them debris, what to look for. The woman spent 30 seconds with that ear device looking
Oh
in
wait.
my
Oh,
eyeball.
this is from the hospital. This
Yeah.
is not from the.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so the hospital, the doctor at the hospital spent 30 seconds with that fucking ear device.
$1,000.
30 seconds, looked in my eye for 30 seconds with that thing they'd look in your ear with. She didn't find anything. What did I get? I got numbing drops in my eye. I got a couple of drops of stuff that made my eyeball fluoresce, and she looked at it with a black light. And then I got one Percocet from the hospital and a prescription for Percocet. That's what I got from the hospital. I already gave them $300. I was only there for 35 minutes. A month later, they want $1,100.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I see where you're going. Yeah.
So I got a friend who's a lawyer. He's an old
Fucking
man.
A.
He's an old man. He's been around the block 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, Mike, what do I do with this? This is fucked up. They didn't, you know what I mean? I tell him the story. He's like, ignore it. And I'm like,
Yeah. Just don't pay. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
said, ignore it.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
wait until they notify you 5 or 6 times before you take any action. He said, let them keep sending you shit. He said, ignore it. Ignore it. Ignore the second one, the third one, the fourth one. He says, wait until about 5 or 6 times. Okay?
Yeah.
Because, when a hospital bill, their only option, they have a couple of options. Number one, they write it off as a loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number two, a charity steps up and pays. And I've actually had that happen to me because I had kidney surgery, and it was like $30,000 surgery. And I got a letter from the hospital that said, charity stepped up and paid the bill, so you owe us nothing.
Fucking A.
I had a kidney stone and it required surgery, and it was expensive, and somebody stepped up and paid it. So fucking A, cool. So option number two is, number one, they write it off. Number two, a charity or somebody pays it. Number three, it goes to collections. Right? So when it goes to collections, here's what happens. A collection company will pay pennies on the dollar, usually around 4 cents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so before the hospital writes it off, if it's a big bill, a big bill, if no one's charity or anybody's going to pay it, before they write it off, they'll sell it to a collection agency and they'll make something before they turn it in as a zero. And then the collection agency, they harass you on the phone, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So I was thinking to myself, what I might do is I'll wait till the very end, and when it gets to the point where they're threatening to turn it into collection, I'll walk into the hospital and I'll say, I'll give you 10 cents on a dollar.
Yeah.
That was my plan.
Yeah.
Because your option is give it to the collections and you'll get 4 cents, right? Okay, so first they send me a bill for $1,100. And I ignore it. A couple of weeks later, I get something from the hospital. They have reduced the bill from $1,096 down to, where did it go? Is it not this paper? $876. So they dropped it down like $200-300, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And without doxing myself, let me make sure.
I'm totally willing to take your word for it on anything that you say. It's it's fine.
$876.
Yeah.
Okay. So without saying a word, they just automatically knocked off, $200. Actually, 220. 320. 220. Anyway, okay, so I ignore that one. And I got a letter from the hospital that said, let me see, I got my papers mixed up. Which one is this? They want a fucking survey. We are providing this application because you may qualify for our financial assistance program.
Yeah.
However, we have not received a completed financial assistance application, which they provide. It's a big form they want me to fill out. They want my tax information. They want all my details, everything. How much money did you make? All that shit. They want everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
The attached form applies, blah, blah, to hospital bills, yada, yada. In order to be considered for a full or partial assistance, you must complete the financial assistance application, blah, 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 blah. I ignore this. And then I get this letter. This letter is being sent to notify you that your charity write-off request has been denied. Well, I didn't actually request anything. I've ignored everything. There's no request. They send me this letter that says, this letter is being sent to you to notify you that your charity write-off request has been denied due to the financial assistance application not being received. Okay. So, I've been denied. even though there was no request. Okay. And then it said you can apply for an appeal if you respond within 30 days. So what do you think I did?
I would assume that you just ignored it, right? I mean, you just let it.
Good on you. I ignored it.
Yeah.
So here's the good news. I just got this in the mail today. Actually yesterday, and I opened it today. Let me fold this so I don't dox myself, and I'll show you if the camera picks it up, but whatever. Make sure there's nothing on here that's important. Well, I got this in the mail today, and I'll just read it to you rather than hold it up because my camera's not doing so good.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
A refund has been applied to your account. This serves as a receipt for this transaction. The details of this transaction are shown below. Says PAS source PAS Nashville, whatever that is, blah blah blah, and then it shows the $300 that I paid the hospital. That was at the time of the original service, $300.
So if I understand this correctly, you got refunded the $1,000 that they charged you?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
No, I paid $300.
Yeah.
The original.
Oh, right. Yeah, you never paid the actual 1,000 that
Right.
they.
Right.
Right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So at the time of the hospital, before they released me, they wanted $300, and I paid it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is now telling me that I got a refund. It shows that my payment of $300, and it says Visa refund $59.49. So they actually refunded me $59 from my original $300 payment.
Oh wow.
It gets better.
Okay.
As
Keep
I
going.
continue to read down, it says, for your convenience, a summary of this account shown below. A summary of this account is shown below. Okay, original charges, room charge 0, because I didn't stay overnight or anything. It was 35 minutes, no room charge. Ancillary charges, $2,186. There's a number I haven't even seen, which is
Yeah.
twice of everything combined, almost.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they could justify $2,200 fucking dollars for looking in my eyeball with an ear magnifying glass.
Right.
Okay, ancillary charges $2,186. Payments and discounts, and it shows that $240, which is my discounted original payment, because I paid $300, they gave me $60 back, so $240 they're showing as my payment.
Yeah.
And then it says insurance payments and discounts. I don't have insurance, so it's a boilerplate like line item. $1,945.94. Insurance payments and discounts. $1,945.94. And here's the bottom line right here. Account balance, 0.
So, I mean,
Done and done.
done and done. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it kind of. I mean, it's kind of an interesting conversation to have because what we were talking about earlier today about how we hear about people like Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris, how illegal immigrants need to they need to have, this kind of same healthcare system, right? That citizens get. And I mean, it's kind of an interesting situation to think, like, what, you were actually kind of worried about this,
Not not exactly. I was maybe a little bit worried, but not
Well,
really.
at first, once you talk to the lawyer, then you weren't worried, right?
Well, no. I mean, I was prepared to go all the way. I was prepared to have them ruin my credit over this. I was prepared for to go to collections and have a bad mark on my credit. I've got pretty good credit, pretty damn good credit. But the bottom line
Sure,
is,
sure, yeah.
I don't need credit, and I don't use my credit. I don't have credit cards. I don't need loans, for the most part, I don't even give a fuck. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah, and
prepared.
that's
I was prepared to go all the way.
right, and that's kind of my point, also. And I'm not trying to, like, I'm not trying to be like a dick or anything, but, like, I mean, that's exactly what all of these illegal immigrants, say as well. Like, well, if IRS, or if whatever agency comes after me, I can just go back to Mexico, you know. So, but that's just the way that it works out, is that they never actually force them to go back to Mexico. They never actually, really are very adversarial against them. And like, the situation that you were in, like, I don't really see a problem with that, because, well, I mean, you're a citizen, right? So it's not really that much of an issue, right? You're a white guy. Well, I mean, technically you're half Jewish, but I'll
I'm
let that slide. I'll let that slide for right now.
I'm a
But
mudblood.
yeah, well, I'm a mudblood too, but like, I mean, technically, you're only one quarter Jewish, if my math is correct. But anyway, here's the thing, right? Is that you're more European than most of these illegal immigrants, right? Most of these illegal immigrants, they're either from Mexico, or I mean, they're all Mexicans to me. Whether they're from Cuba, or whether they're from Guadalajara, or wherever, they're all Mexicans. Or they're from India or some shit. I mean, they're all illegal in some way, and that's the huge problem. Is that the system is still accommodating to these illegals, and these are people who don't. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like the huge the kind of the huge conversation that we were having, right? Um, what are these people? What are these illegals actually providing for to the country, right? These are Muslims who don't want to sell alcohol at the grocery store and things like that, right? We already talked about this, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, and like that, I'm a total, yeah, I'm more than willing to admit that I'm kind of a, like, a socialist kind of, bleeding heart liberal kind of person. But I'm only, my heart only bleeds for certain people. And like like the example that you're bringing up is exactly why, are exactly the problem of the bleeding heart, right? Is that if your heart bleeds for too many people, too many non-citizens, too many freeloaders, or whatever you want to call them, then the system eventually breaks down, and that's part of the ethno-nationalist kind of argument that I see, if that makes sense.
Part of the ethno nationalist.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, how familiar are you with like the bell curve, or Charles Murray, and the whole idea of race realism. And are you familiar with that term, race realism?
Actually, no. I
So,
understand the bell curve.
right, yeah. The bell curve and race realism are the same thing. The idea that, white people tend to be around 110 IQ, or maybe 100, 110 IQ, whatever. Um, and then, Asians tend to be, average 110 IQ. Um, Jews, well, I mean, Jews, that's a little bit more complicated. I mean, we will have to, get a little bit more in depth into that. But Mexicans tend to be around 85 IQ, and Africans, depending on what part of Africa they're from, Africans can be as low as 65 IQ, like in places like Somalia and things like that. Um, and there's been studies done where, um, in order to maintain a first world society, you have to have an average of at least 90 IQ. So basically, what that means is that if you have too many Africans or too many Mexicans in your country, then eventually you're not going to be a first world country anymore. You're going to go from second world to third world, to shithole country, right? As Donald Trump would say, um, and that's the real problem when it comes to socialism, right? The socialism isn't the problem. The problem is like trying to take care, trying to be the mother of the entire world. Um, yes, America is the richest country, and America has some money to throw around. But as much money as America has to throw around, it's not gonna, the society is not gonna last if we just keep being as overly altruistic as a lot of these liberals and a lot of these progressives want us to be. Does that make sense?
Um, Kinda, but I think it's probably more nuanced than that.
In what way?
Um, it really depends on how you're sampling. I think you know. I mean, I understand that if your population is overrun with a demographic that has statistically lower IQ, then depending on how you sample, then your statistics are going to come out that overall your society has a lower IQ. But that doesn't necessarily mean that people with higher IQs have ceased to exist and have ceased to be vital, functioning members of that society.
You're familiar though with the concept of the regression to the mean.
Hang on a second, I'm typing.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Say that again.
The regression to the mean.
The the regression to the mean at MEAN.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yes, yes, you are right that sure there's going to be a random Mexican or a random Negro who is higher IQ, but the overall tendency of evolution is that that it's basically like anecdotal evidence, right? Just because you find one smarter Mexican or one smarter Negro, that doesn't mean that letting in all the Negroes or all the Mexicans is going to be beneficial to your society, right? Because eventually, there's going to be you could also put it like what's the word what's it called when oh, for fuck's sake, um regression to the mean, and also um when you do a thing, but like eventually that thing reduces, it has less and less benefits over time. There's a word for it. I can't think of it right now. Um
Oh, damn! I think I almost had it too. I, I, I can't. I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, there's some smart Mexicans, or there's some smart, Africans, but you know that doesn't mean that all Africans are smart, or all Mexicans are smart.
Well,
And if we try to establish a policy where we try to let in all Africans or all Mexicans, that's only going to work out worse for us over time.
um, that I think that really boils down to your perspective.
No,
Because,
no. Well,
well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
go ahead and explain that. But
well,
I disagree. But go ahead and explain it.
better or worse is really a perspective based um, concept. Because any society requires that a certain percentage of the population be of lesser IQ to the point where they can and do support the upper echelon. In other words, the burger flippers. Okay, somebody's got to bowl them French fries. Somebody has to sweep the floor and clean the toilets. And generally the high IQ people are not even going to be interested in those jobs. All right, there is such a thing as being overqualified. Right, there are jobs where they will refuse you simply because you have more qualification, way more than is necessary for the job.
No, no, that's absolutely incorrect. When we talk about averages, right? So the average white IQ, and by the way, just to reiterate,
Don't get me in trouble with my fan base.
I don't know anything about your fan base, so.
Well, I just want to make a disclaimer here that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the podcast provider.
But a lot of the people in chat I'm familiar with a lot of the people in chat. So they know who I am. So the only person that is kind of I'm not sure what are the language regulations? Am I allowed to say, like, am I allowed to insult people?
Well, it depends on what you mean by insult, and it depends on who you intend to insult. I will say this though, if you're talking about the JQ,
Mhm.
I would suggest that you use the vernacular that we've established. We call them Smurfs.
Smurfs,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, that's.
because they're
Wait,
blue,
so
because
what
they're
about the what about
bluish.
the what about the FAG word? Is that okay to say?
Um, well, I hope I don't get hit for bullying and harassing, but once again, the views and opinions,
All right. I'll
blah
I'll
blah
play
blah.
nice. I'll play
Disclaimer.
nice. Yeah, there's only one person in chat that I actually have a problem with.
Well, speaking of people in the chat, there is one person I wanted to just comment on. Battle Lines, when we were talking about collections and collection agencies back a few minutes ago, he
Yeah,
said collections is a third party. You have no contract with them. He's 100% correct, and that's something that
yeah,
I was taking into consideration. That if it ever did go to collections, that
yeah.
would have and believe me, I've seen it. And my lawyer friend has actually won cases in court on that stance. And I totally understand you have no contract with them. I didn't sign anything with them, and they have no legal standing.
Yeah, those third parties, they are basically the collection agencies. but they have no contract with you or anything. Yeah, so yeah, both of those, what you just said and what the commenter in chat said, yeah, it's both absolutely correct.
Yep. So that's another aspect that I considered, and that's another reason I wasn't worried about it. Because if it ever did go to collections, and then from there has to go to court, if we ever wound up in court dealing with a collection agency. And by the way, the bill was small enough; it probably would have never gone to court. Usually, something that small would never make it to court through a collection agency.
That's another good point. Yeah, yeah. The size of the bill also makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, my concern was if by chance it ever did go to court, I have a super strong case. All I had to do was say, "Show me where I signed on your fucking dotted line," and that would have been the end of that case.
Right. Yeah. We've got a new guest.
This is Amy Ov. If you've never known or met my co-host and friend Amy, this is Amaterasu Solar. This is my longtime co-host of my Conspiracy or Not, Here We Come show. Welcome, Amy, and Gandalf. If you're listening, the link is in Skype. Come on in if you want to.
Oh, Gandalf hates me.
No, not that Gandalf.
No, not that Gandalf. Okay.
No, my Gandalf, not your Gandalf.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, there's more.
Amy. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you around, Amy. See, Kyle.
Hail Satan.
Your name sounds vaguely Jewish, so forgive me if my my introduction.
Amy is vaguely Jewish.
Wait, no, you said what was it?
Amaterasu Solar.
That sounds vaguely Jewish.
It's actually a Japanese solar deity.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough. My bad, but all right, yeah. I mean, I can never tell.
Amy, you're muted, and I don't know if I can unmute you or if you got yourself muted, but Amy, I see that you are muted. So if you're talking and you can hear me, see that your mute button is corrected, because I see that you are muted right now. So if you're jabbering away, we can't hear you.
Is that better?
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Hi,
Ah!
hi, honey.
Hi. It apparently mutes you when you come in. So, yes, I was saying hi and all that. And,
All right.
yeah,
Well,
no, Amaterasu is the Shinto goddess of the sun.
Any god of the sun is okay in my book, to be honest.
Awesome.
So Ov, Amy Ov. Nice.
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Did you have something to add?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was listening to what you were saying about these IQ tests and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to know that I took a test, an IQ test, that asked me what the meaning of certain somewhat obscure words were. And albeit I had a clue on some of them, I got to thinking, let us suppose that for some freak accident in the universe, I never had seen a cat, never had heard of a cat, had no clue about cats whatsoever. If you asked me what's a cat and I couldn't tell you, does that mean I'm stupid?
According to the test, yes.
I forgive me, but I'm familiar with this argument. But the more kind of higher quality IQ tests actually factor in for things like this.
They're supposed to, because IQ is supposed to be intelligence, not knowledge.
Right,
well,
exactly.
It's supposed to be your ability to understand things.
I agree with you on that. I did take one test. It was called the General Aptitude Test Battery.
Yeah, the G factor and things like that, yeah.
And I do know that, I scored within the top 2 and mostly in the top 1% on most everything except some of the manual dexterity things. But, I wound up scoring basically high genius in spatial perception.
Yeah, that's actually the spatial perception is actually kind of one of the more is, at least as far as I understand it. I could be wrong, but as far as I understand it, the spatial perception, understanding things like geometry and mathematics and things like that.
Well,
that tends to be-
I understand mathematics to an extent. You get into the calc and the trig, and I'm lost.
Mhm.
But I will say that I slept through geometry class and got straight A's on the tests without doing homework.
Mhm.
And interesting story, when I took the test, I was working for the state of Nevada as a employment development specialist, one of those people at the unemployment office that helps you find jobs. Mainly, actually, at the time, we were working with disadvantaged youth. And I took the test, and at that time, I had no idea how I scored. But my boss, who, I think, kind of wished I hadn't taken the test, because from that point on, she was very uppity with me. But she comes.
Wait, women getting uppity with each other? What?
Oh, well, I don't know that it had anything to do with women. I do not look at people.
I'm not blaming you. I'm more blaming her. Your
Well,
boss. Your boss.
I think a male would have been worse, to be quite honest.
Interesting.
She
Okay.
she comes out and she's handing, because a bunch of us took the test because we had to take it to understand what the kids were going through. And she's passing out the things. She's handing them to everybody. She comes to me and slaps the thing down on my desk. And I'm like, whoa, what is that? But I didn't really think about it. I picked it up and I'm flipping through and I'm going, oh yeah, hey, cool. And seeing that I did quite well on most things. And then she goes into her office, and I don't know, 10 minutes maybe or so, she comes stomping out of her office, looks at me and says, I have never seen a score that high in all the years I've been doing these tests. And then she snatched the report out of my hand saying, did you cheat? And I'm like, well, no. I didn't say anything, but it was like, what? And she looks it over and went, no, and slapped it down on my desk, turned around and stomped back into her office. No, I will tell you for sure that why I think most men would have had more of a problem than she did. And that is because I'm a woman. And men get very uppity when a woman does better than them. As an example, I used to ride motorcycles back in the day.
Seagull.
And Seagull. And one day we decided to take a ride up Angeles Crest to this place where we all hung out. I can't remember now the name of it. Newcomb's Ranch. And we always made a habit of kind of trying to kind of race up there. And I'm up there going up on my Yamaha SR 500. It's a really nice bike. I wish I still had one. And I'm passing all these guys, just passing all these guys. And I get up to the top, get off my bike, kick back, and the guys I'd passed started coming in. And a few of them were like totally cool. That was totally cool. But most of them were giving me these nasty, evil looks.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, but I'm sure that if I'd been a guy, they would have been, maybe subdued, but they wouldn't be giving the guy the nasty looks. But it was because I was female that they decided there was something wrong with me because I beat them.
I mean,
Anyway.
yeah, I see the argument that you're making, but I mean, the counterpoint that I would make is that there have actually been studies done where, are women more comfortable with a female boss, or are women more comfortable with a male boss? And I mean, based upon these scientific studies, not you know legitimate studies. A lot of these studies were done by like pro-feminist kind of organizations, and they were actually upset with the results that they got, because the women said that they were happier with a male boss, because more often than not, women tend to be more antagonistic to other women than they do to be other men.
Well, I guess I'm unusual in the fact that I really don't care what the gender is of my boss. I care whether my boss deals with me ethically. That is my main criterion.
Well, I mean, so that's kind of the point that I'm getting at when you talk about your boss who, the story that you just told about, your boss, your female boss, having an issue with you, like that, you might not have a problem with it, but I mean, the example of your boss having a problem with you is actually very common in society.
Hey, bitches can be
Well,
catty.
Yeah, bitches can be catty. Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, I mean, at the very least, we can say that, you're the exception to the rule. You're one of those you're one of those unicorn women.
Well, I will be honest. I think of myself as human, irrespective of my gender.
Well, from a third party opinion, Amy is definitely the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I will grant you that.
So, welcome, my friend and my good friend Gandalf. If you don't know OV, this is the other Gandalf.
The other Gandalf. This is the good Gandalf.
The good agent Gandalf.
I'm the not so evil version of Gandalf White.
So you're the actual Gandalf the White, because the other Gandalf that I know, he's not Gandalf the Gray, he's Gandalf the Gay. That's the Gandalf that I know. So
Dude, I don't know what to think about anything anymore when it comes to these LARP accounts, like who's who, like who's shilling, who can you even trust anymore, man? It's a sketchy time, dude.
that's an interesting conversation.
OV, if you don't know, Gandalf has been around in the trenches for a very, very long time.
Oh yeah. I don't mean any disrespect or anything.
But I also want to say hello to my old friend Kalindel. So welcome, Kalindel.
His mic. God, there he goes. I was going to say his mic's
I haven't
muted
talked to this
too.
guy in a long time. This guy's as brilliant as anyone. So welcome. Haven't talked to you in a long time.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be on. It's good to share ideas and to kind of kick around the old thought thinker thingy. I don't know. You guys,
So what's the topic tonight is what I wanted to ask quickly.
Well,
that's actually I'm kind of curious myself.
Well,
because
it's really an open topic, because really what I wanted to do I started, like I said in the opening, I really just wanted to share my story about my hospital and my hospital bill
Oh yeah, yeah.
experience. That was, and it only took a few minutes. I started making a video today
It
uh,
was a good story.
because I got this letter from the hospital. And so I was like, holy shit, that's fucking cool. And all I did was absolutely nothing. All I did was literally ignore everything I got.
That was awesome
So
listening to
so
that.
I made a video today, and when I got done with it, and I started to review the video. I was using my phone, and just talking into my phone, and I was showing my papers, and I was reviewing my video, and I went, "Oh shit, you're showing the entire paper, which has my name and address, and I totally fucking doxed." So I didn't upload the video, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just do a stream and talk about it." And then after that, it's open. The topic is open. I don't care.
So
So
I'm kind of curious because I'm the new guy here. So I'm not sure where everyone falls on the political spectrum, but I'm more than willing to admit, or to put myself out in the open where I am. Like I consider myself a national socialist, or a Nazi, or a Hitler supporter, if you want to put it that way.
OV, did we talk about like? Do you remember talking to me maybe about a
You-
month ago?
Your avatar is familiar.
he's a Hitler cuck.
A Hitler cuck. Oh. Well, of course a Jew would say that, right?
That's okay. We've been kind of socializing with a lot of these people from over on Jen and Claire Cause
Right.
stream.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all right, man. Like, yeah, dude, I went through that phase, man, when I was younger, bro. I started. I really got radicalized by a channel called Ramsey Paul.
I know who Ramsey Paul is. Yeah. But I should tell you, I'm 33, so I'm not like I've been around the block, once or twice.
You got radicalized by the web.
by a YouTuber. I was radicalized into white supremacy by a channel called Ramsey Paul.
Dude, Ramsey Paul is not really radical though.
No, I'm joking around, dude. But no,
Okay.
I used to I used to watch that guy all the time, man, and I used to watch Tommy Robinson back when I was like 19.
Yeah.
So
How old are you now?
30. I just turned 30.
Okay.
You don't want to know what I am.
I mean, we're polite around here. We don't ask those kind of questions.
Well, no, I'm actually quite willing to say.
What you are? Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry. That was my bad.
No, it's politically speaking.
Yeah, politically speaking, right? Yeah.
I am an abundancist, and under that, I am an ethical anarchist seeking to put in place a solutocracy.
A whatocracy? So
Solutocracy.
what is? I've never heard that word before. What does that mean?
Probably not, because I think I coined it.
Oh, okay.
A solutocracy is a method of governance, not government, putting into play the natural governance in nature, which is a word that virtually nobody knows, called stigmergy, wherein autonomous individuals choose their actions based on the information they receive.
I was
And
okay.
let me finish, because there's more
go ahead.
to this. Basically, the idea is, rather than passing laws and enforcing them upon others, we solve problems ethically. And the thing is that more problems are created for people because of the enforcement of laws than the problems that the laws were passed to solve for.
Amy, can I take a turn and tell you what I am now?
Sure.
I'm kind of like a neo-Ba'athist, so I'm like an Arab. Kind of like the best way you could describe me would be like a green flag socialist,
Yeah.
kind of similar to like Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah. That's what I was about to ask. What's your opinion on Gaddafi? Yeah. But if you think that Gaddafi is a good guy, then I mean that's okay in my book.
All right, all right. Well, then we agree on more than we disagree, then, my friend.
Probably.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, an abundancist. I have been accused because of being an abundancist of being a communist, being a socialist. Neither of which I am, because both of those are scarcity paradigm solutions. An abundancist sees that accounting for our human energy added into a system is archaic at this point in time, especially those of us who know we have the ability to draw energy from what people call the ether, which I suggest, based on my research, is probably the electrogravitomagnetic field that pervades the universe. If you're curious about what that might be, check out the electric universe stuff, or the plasma universe. It's basically the same thing. I know we have the technology to do this, and if anybody wants to check out my featured vid on my channel, they'll understand why I know.
Yes, Electric Universe is the best.
Amy has been talking about electrogravitics for as long as I've known her. And Killendale, you're absolutely correct. Electric Universe is all about the electrical properties that create gravity. In fact, Wal Thornhill gave a presentation that explains exactly how gravity works through electricity and electromagnetic properties. And that is, if you imagine, I might even pull it up since we're on the subject, because I think I could find it pretty quickly.
Well, I mean, Aaron, you can just look at it at a pretty base level too. There's a lot of spiritual movements of sorts that say everything is the light. That's all there really is. And if you study Electric Universe, that's all they're saying that there is.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, think of it this way: light is part of what's the spectrum? Come on, say it. Say it. What is light? What's the spectrum?
Electromagnetism.
Thank you. So light is part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So therefore, because honestly, everything else on the electromagnetic spectrum is basically electrically driven. All of the wavelengths of all the other lights, all the radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays, these are all different aspects of electromagnetics.
I'm kind of curious.
Here's a thought, real quick. Here's a thought. Do you think every star or sun out there has light that reaches us? It's impossible. It's mathematically impossible for every star to saturate or radiate enough photon light particles in enough directions that it's perceivable from every position.
Well, I would say that you have, in part, there's a lot of dust out there which could vastly diminish light.
Just
the further away the star
take a
is.
circle.
No,
and
that's a
blow it
really
up.
good question.
Hey, sorry guys, I'll be right back. I've got to step away.
Sure.
For a couple minutes. Sorry.
We understand, OV.
By the way, just before I go, who is this in chat?
James. Oh, welcome, James.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, James is here. No, who is this? Oh wait. Oh, sorry, wrong. I've got two chats open. Lady Zaga. Can Lady Zaga come on? She has a problem with Hitler and Nazism. I would love to.
If Lady Zaga's been a friend of my channel for a very long time, if she wants to come in here, all she has to do is say so, and I'll drop the link. But in the meantime, I want to say hello to James and welcome, James.
And I'll be back in a couple minutes. Sorry, guys.
Okay, bro. All right, no problem, OV.
Cool. What's up, James? How you been?
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure. Hey, Amy, Rufus, and my old brother Gandalf there.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I love all you guys, truly. And I've been going through some deep shit, and me and Gandalf's talked about it, and I just wanted to come in and, kind of talk a little bit about some stuff because, I don't really know what the hell to think about things anymore because, quite frankly, one part of me is I'm dealing with my health. Then there's the other fact that, I come back, me and Josh, we start talking and everything, and that's good and that's great. And me and you, Rufus, look at it now. I love you, man.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I've been getting into shit where certain people are popping up, and I'm not going to name any names because they're not worth mentioning, but the problem is, who are these fucking people and why are they all of a sudden coming in to start chaos all over again?
Hey, chills.
Hey, man.
That would be my guess.
Hey, dude. The whole thing is you're gonna naturally have people that are gonna come looking to stir shit and like fight each other and it's kind of like it's a release for a lot of these fuckers on here, man. But what we have evidence for now is that there's actual paid people to come and stir shit and
Oh yeah.
turn people against each other. We have proof of this now, so it's like a double-edged sword, man, where it's like, who knows, they could be just some asshole wanting to start shit with somebody, or they could be a paid
Chill.
a
Could
paid
you
shill.
could you explain what that proof is? I've not heard of that before.
Okay,
But
let me explain if you don't mind. The proof is OPM, it's online persona management, and I've talked about this many times. Online persona management is a provision in the 2012 National Defense Authorization Act, where they got rid of the Smith-Mund Act, where, they basically allowed for the propagandization of the American people by their own government. And the online persona management service is a provision in the 2012 National Authorization Act where they allow the U.S. government to create up to 10 SOC accounts per U.S. military personnel. And now I'm not suggesting that every military personnel is sitting on a computer with 10 SOC accounts, but somewhere somebody is allowed to do this. So right now we have 1.4 million U.S. military personnel, which means that legally they're allowed to create 10.4 million potential SOC accounts. That's just the U.S. military. We've seen advertisements from the military for hiring people to do this type of work. But keep in mind, this is just the military. This does not include the 17 other intelligence agencies. This does not include other militaries around the world, other intelligence agencies around the world. It does not include corporations or private entities, rich people like the Koch brothers or George Soros or those types of foundations and wealthy individuals or corporations or NGOs. So the potential for SOC accounts is rather enormous
Yeah.
in the
Many times the number of people on this planet.
in the hundreds of millions potentially. So,
Billions?
and we've seen advertisements where they need people to do this type of work. So it's quite confirmed, it's well known, and it's not a secret.
Yep.
okay.
Well, it's pretty fucked up considering, there's all this weird shit within, I'd say about, at least from my perspective of taking notice of it, it would be about 4 months now. For perfect instance, is Gandalf's in, I think it was Fellow Man's chat. He wrote something and it fucking disappeared. And, I've noticed certain things, if I edit something, a comment I've made, poof, it's gone and I can't get it back. Other things that have happened, it's just like, okay, what the hell's going on? None of this makes sense. It's weirding me out. I'm struggling to deal with my health, main point. And then I come here to hang out with my friends, and I've got these assholes popping up. I've got all this shit. And when I make a comment, it's disappearing. It's giving me a headache. It's just really getting to me.
Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
Okay, in terms of things disappearing on the tubes, or as I like to call it, U-toilet. What I did was, when I discovered that a number of my comments had been shadow banned, I delivered to YouTube a notice of liability. I said they owe me some money for the time I spent writing comments nobody sees, under the the impression that everything I wrote would be seen. And I so far have not had any further issues with anything disappearing or being shadow banned. Now, I'm hoping that they are honorable and ethical and pay me the money that I demanded. You can see my video on my channel called YouTube Notice of Liability, where I give my proof that they have done this and what my demands are. That's how I approached it. And as far as the trolls, as soon as I get to a point in an argument where it has become clear that they are arguing for the sake of arguing and not intellectual honesty, as my father taught me, you cannot argue with someone who is agreeing with you.
Yeah.
And so I will say to them, like, I roll my eyes and then I'll say, "Yep, you're right. Have a nice life." And then they'll come back sometimes with, "Well, I have a nice life," and I reply, "Yep, you're right. Have a nice life." And eventually they leave me alone.
Yeah.
Because
it's sorry to interrupt, but it's been really crazy, the last few months and everything. And it's like, what the hell, man? And, me and Gandalf talked about it, and at least some of what's going on. And, there's a lot more to my picture that, I'm not necessarily revealing. And it's a lot of different things that have in my life that, it's like, why all of a sudden am I losing control? Why is it that all of a sudden, I come to essentially my sanctuary to hang out with my friends, and even though it's not us infighting anymore, it's other people to come in and cause that same type of fucking chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
So, dude,
I mean,
gotta
is it like
understand-
making you paranoid?
In some aspects, yeah,
No,
because
man, it's not paranoia if they really are watching you.
That's right.
To be fair though, like,
I mean, paranoia is a state of fear, and that could be elicited despite them actually watching you. So
yeah, but
I mean,
before we even get into the paranoia aspect, though, I mean, if you're coming onto YouTube and you're expecting it to be some sort of safe space, I mean,
it's
you're
not.
here for the wrong reasons.
Well, no, definitely not safe space, but it's just
I hate the word safe space, by the way.
because
I hate it.
I've essentially been on here since 2000 and what was it when YouTube came about, 2006 or 2005, whatever it was.
Sure.
Because I happened, and I remember the day when it happened because I was looking up Pantera, and it just happened to be that there was a Pantera video, and I'm like, holy shit, actually a video on these guys on here, cool. And that's how I got introduced into YouTube. And from there, I've had God, almost 1,000 accounts, and now I only got one. So
Bro,
Yeah, I
you
mean, but
got
I
into
mean
this
that's
later
kind of
on
the
then.
thing, right? YouTube has really changed. Where you remember YouTube used to only allow what, like 10-minute videos.
Yes.
And then now you can basically have unlimited limits on videos. So I mean the whole landscape has changed in the years, in the half decades or decades or whatever you want to call them. It's we are living in we were actually me and Rufus were talking about this earlier, where the internet culture is kind of we're living in a transition time where um
Yeah.
it's what was the term that you used, Rufus? We're kind of like in an uncharted waters or something like that.
Uncharted territory.
That yeah, we really are. Human society is really not. We are in places that we've never been before, and to be on YouTube and to have YouTube channels, or to try to create communities on YouTube or on Twitter, or try and create communities on the internet,
The whole social
are
media.
places
Yeah, the
are
whole social
things that
media
have
thing.
never been done before. And it's so there's a lot of legal systems that need to be sorted out. There's a lot of social systems that need to be sorted out. I mean, there's a whole bunch of shit that needs to be sorted out, and we're kind of living. We are living in a very historic time, I would say.
I'd
And
Oh,
say that's
definitely.
true.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like, but the thing is, it's not just paranoia. Like, we all remember. I'm certain that most of us have been here for, like, James. You've been here since 2005. I think I came in 2006 to YouTube. I think the first thing I ever saw on YouTube, I was like, "Hey, I want to listen to that Little Boozy song, Zoom." Like a zoom right by ya from my hood. That you remember that probably, right?
Not my kind of music, so
Oh, come on.
no. But
So like that's how I found YouTube. But like back in the day, there's like this old school conspiracy shit, and it was all documentaries and whatnot.
yeah.
And then it kind of evolved into people doing like 5-minute, 2-minute videos, just giving their little opinion on things. But in the past 4 years, I would say, I've really seen this weird shift in YouTube. It started apparently back in like 2014, but I was completely out of the conspiracy side of things where we're all at right now. And there seems to have been people like that starting in 2014 that have been kind of infiltrating in a way, creating personas. That's coincidentally when the whole OPM persona management operation started. And it's only years later that we actually started getting information on some of these characters that a lot of us had interacted with over the years. And some of these people are snapping, they're murdering people, they're being sent to jail. Some of these people have been like fucking 2 weeks,
you
or
imagine-
what was it, about a month ago. One of these guys who came out of nowhere about a year ago, he was completely doxxed. Like his entire family history, family tree was doxxed. And this guy was like a bona fide fucking paid shill who had been fucking with us. He made like 10 videos about me, Roof, fucking. If James was here around that period, he would have made videos on him. And this guy was fucking totally doxxed because he was just so stupid at his job. But so we've interacted with these people. Like it's not paranoia when you actually have proof that these people are there.
True.
Gandalf, when you say that this started around 2014, I would say that it started even earlier than that.
Well,
I mean, in
2012,
my opinion,
the 2012 National
we
Defense
are living
Authorization
in a
Act.
time where you look at the political persuasions of Twitter or of Facebook or of YouTube, right? These are companies that are run by very, very radical leftist. I would say, well, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys would agree with this, but I would say that they're very anti-white groups, and that is the kind of new paradigm that we're living in, right? We're living in a paradigm where blacks are wanting reparations and things like this.
Well, I'd say probably, the main thing when it comes to the whole race issues that we see in society, I see it being pushed. I see the, racist divide being really pushed by the media. I see it not being as, of course, there's always been tensions between white and black people, like, but
Would you agree, though? Real quick, would you agree that YouTube and Twitter and Facebook they are kind of the new media?
oh, certainly,
Oh yeah.
All right,
But,
yeah,
but
yeah. Keep going then. Keep going.
the whole thing is I think that if you were a politician or you were a world leader or if you're some nefarious character behind the curtain, what's the best tool you have to keep people from coming to take your shit? There was the Occupy Wall Street thing, which was, it really flopped because some dumbass had the idea of organizing and camping in one area, and that allowed the police to start dropping off maniacs, homeless people, criminals. And I saw it happen at Occupy Bay Street down in Toronto. And that was like a good idea. Like you have the 99% and you have the 1%. And that was like this big thing. It wasn't about anything political really. It was mostly about how the banks are all protected and how they were bailed out.
I would say that economics and politics are very intertwined, but
But Obama really wasn't like a central focus like of the whole Occupy Wall Street thing. It was basically
true. Okay, yeah, true, yeah,
it was
sure,
mostly going after the banks.
yeah,
And
sure, yeah.
and once Occupy Wall Street fizzled out, that's when I really started to notice things like Black Lives Matter. I started noticing like the gay rights. I started noticing like transsexual stuff really getting ramped up.
Yeah.
The man spreading shit that started up.
Yeah.
Fucking all of this shit just kept piling on and piling on and piling on to the point where if you're a young white guy, you see in the media that you're told that you're a neo-Nazi if you don't like trans people, or if there's a real demonization of white people, but I think that it's there for a reason. I think it's to radicalize young white people, white guys in particular.
Interesting. So you think that the wait, so you're saying you bring up an interesting perspective, but I have a hard time believing it because I mean, sure, maybe the more higher IQ, I mean, yeah, if we assume that Jews are higher IQ, yeah, maybe they could, coerce this kind of anti-white movement, for their own benefit. But the Negroes or the Mexicans who really do believe that they are living in a systematically racist society. Which, I mean, maybe they are, because in my opinion, America was always supposed to be a white society. So I mean, maybe they're right that it is racist, but that's kind
No,
of
no,
beside the
not at
point.
all. That's the truth. If you look at the founding documents, if you listen to what the founding fathers used to say, they didn't even want people from lower.
From Germany.
Yeah, they didn't want people from lower Germany. They didn't
Yeah.
want swarthy,
Yeah, yeah, that's
lower
what
German.
Franklin said. Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't want swarthy, low German Bavarians coming. They didn't want greasy Frenchmen or Italians with alien religion coming.
yeah.
They wanted it to be a northern
Wasp.
German. Yeah, they wanted it to be a total WASP / North German nation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, of course, the United States was founded that way. But over time, what's happened is the people running, like the business class, the WASPs, that go back to the founding, before the founding, back when the United States was still colonies. These are the people. It's not like, of course, like say like there's a lot of rich Jews that own factories and whatnot, but it's mostly starting back in the late 1800s. It was mostly the WASP ruling class who wanted to import people that would work for lower wages than the native population was willing to work. And simply all we're seeing now, with these waves of immigrants coming in, is they're willing to work for lower wages. And that's all the WASP establishment. That's all the anyone who's a family. You could be a Jew, you could be a WASP, you could be a guy from like India somewhere. If you own a factory, you want to pay the least amount for work to be done in your factory. And
Yeah.
who's and that's all it is. It's as simple as that. Like the United States was never designed or envisioned to be anything, and it's never been anything but a corporation. Like look at the and that's all it is. So when these people are coming in, it's not like this was ever supposed to be a white homeland. This has always been a corporation. Like the first
Yes.
first territories in North America. Look at Virginia. That was the Virginia Bay Company, or the Virginia Company. It was basically a tobacco harvesting operation that started there in Virginia. If you look up in Hudson Bay, there was the Hudson Bay Company, and they were basically there for pelts and furs. And they would shortchange white workers back in the day, and they would hire Indians to do the jobs. And look at New France. That was a pelt gathering operation itself. And if you look down in Mexico, New Spain was basically like a gold heist and silver extraction operation.
And not only that, but dude, the Spaniards. I actually hold a very special grudge against the Spaniards, because they actually were the ones who really miscegenated with the natives, and created this whole kind of a mestizo castizo, kind of a mentality. Yeah, you're actually right. And I don't know. Forgive me for saying this, if anyone here isn't Italian, but I'm an Italian supremacist.
Okay.
I'm waiting. Matteo.
It starts with the daily roll call.
Dude, I am such. Bro, I am a total mutt.
Amy, your voice is really.
Or so the thinking goes.
Amy, your voice is really quiet. Can you?
We're going to cover 3 boxes out of
Whose voice is quiet?
Oh wait, I'm getting there's some echo from somewhere.
In the last several years.
Well,
It analyzes
I don't know quite what to do. I know my friend here is playing a video, and that
Just
may.
Amy, just mute for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, just mute while you're not talking. Yeah.
Well,
Alright.
you guys, I've been given word. Josh is holding an open hangout right now, and
Yeah, why don't we go jump on Josh's stream, because right now he looks like he's a little upset that we're streaming. It looks like we're crossing streams right now, and
yeah, we have a
and-
no cross stream policy, you guys. And I am going to enforce this as a rule of thumb from now on. Any cross streamers will be trolled, and their videos will be
yeah,
reported.
Josh, if you're listening, I didn't mean to. I really didn't mean that, but and honestly, I was actually watching to see when you were going to go live. I didn't know exactly when you're going to go live, but it is what it is. There was no intention on that anyway. But
Well, I was surprised, bro. I was surprised you weren't over there earlier, man.
well, I meant to, but I got involved in a conversation with OV on Claire's stream, and it just dragged on and on and on. And OV and I were in this really awesome conversation, and I was telling fellow man in Hangouts that I wanted to do a short stream. I just wanted to share my story and my hospital bill thing, and it wasn't going to take long. But it is what it is. It turned into what it is, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. And Josh, I apologize. Don't be upset at me. I respect
This
you.
is the plumbed serpent stream.
Yeah,
Yes. So
Plumed.
everyone, we're all heading over to Plume Serpent right now.
Yeah, let's go over to Plume Serpent. Let's go talk to Josh. Josh, no hard feelings, man. I'm going to come see you, and if you're listening, and I said my piece. It was an open hangout. I didn't have a topic.
Dude, it's my fault, Rufus. Any conversation with me will always go on for hours and hours. So
Yeah, it is. It's
my
OV's.
fault.
It's
my
OV's fault.
Yeah.
For being such a good conversationalist, because I was really intrigued, and him and I were having a great conversation. And so there's
Okay,
that.
everyone, I left the link. Everyone listening, I left the link to Josh's stream, Plume Serpent channel. Everyone, please migrate over there with us right now.
Yeah.
Is it possible I can get a hangout link to that stream? Or
Yeah, over on his chat, he always drops the hangout.
oh yeah, he drops it. Okay.
Okay, so everyone, shut it down.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and we're going to go hang out with Josh, because I didn't mean to step on his toes, and he's a good dude. Josh is a friend, and
Shut it down.
yeah, we're out of here. Let's go over to Josh's stream. I'll send you the link, OV, if you want to come hang out over there.
Yeah, I see the
Okay.
link. I'll see the link. I'll be there in a second.
All right, see you guys, and everybody in the chat and everybody watching. Thanks for checking it out and whatever, and go over to Plume Serpent channel. We're gonna go hang out over there. See you.
See you guys.
I'm hanging out. And hail Satan. Goodbye.
And for that, I'm happy I did do it. I feel like I've got a little bit of a leg up right now on that understanding.
Definitely.
Josh.
I mean, I definitely see the merit in it, influence, and the things you're able. What's the program that you use to create those things that you do?
Well, I just create in Blender, which is
Blender.
just
That's it.
Yeah, I create all my stuff in Blender, and then I import it custom made for me. Then I make some of my own animations.
Is that what
maybe-
people use for like Sims and stuff too? Like if they create outside content for like the
Sure,
Sims?
people.
Okay.
Sure, Blender is like an amazing program.
I'm really
And-
interested in using it. I heard it uses a lot of like computer
does.
power though.
It
Yeah.
does.
It does,
You do need
yeah.
a lot of computer.
We would
power.
need
I mean,
your PC and then some RAM to make it work.
Yeah, yeah. It's an intensive program for sure. And then Second Life, if you're trying to dare run Blender and Second Life, forget about it.
Oh,
yeah, you
yeah.
need to have the
Run
the
Blender
system
and
running.
anything else. It's like running
Yeah.
a high-powered game. It's like running Crisis 3.
Yeah, and but like, oh my God, when you see what people's minds create, I go in there and make little videos of just Sims. That's what I'm making, and I'm gonna be putting that onto my channel. And I'm just amazed at the minds that people have and the beauty and yet the horror at the same time that you'll get from the variety of things that people just want to create.
Yeah.
And it's
We're trying to be more strategic.
But activists and members of the youth justice
I don't know, it's
say
just
that
all
new technologies will
fascinating.
only make things worse.
Oh, we got some background noise.
Allowing them to racially profile.
That might be me. I'm sorry.
Television is what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's my friend watching a vid.
I got you.
I'll mute.
Josh, can
Okay.
you hear me?
Hey, Rufus.
Buddy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cross streams with you.
Hey, man, I'm not hating. Like, you know, I'm pretty upfront. Like, I just call
How
it
dare
as
you,
I
Rufus.
go. No, I mean,
No, I was watching for your stream. I was seriously watching. I wanted to get in on this, but I wanted to hang out with you. But I was watching for your stream. I didn't know exactly when you were going to go live. I got involved in a conversation, and it ran late. And then I was telling fellow man earlier in Hangouts that I had this thing with my hospital bill that I wanted to share. I tried to make a video and I accidentally doxed myself on the video, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna do a quick live stream and only take 15 minutes." And then next thing I know, I'm hanging out with OV on a live stream, and then everybody else is joining in. And
What Rufus is saying is
I didn't mean to
it's all
step on
my
your toe.
fault.
I didn't mean.
Hey, it's
all
no
my
worries.
And Roof, did I not say I could only come in for a moment there, man?
Yeah,
and it's no
and here
worries.
you
Like,
are.
we're just, you know, we actually really worked hard on this broadcast this evening. Like, we poured our heart and souls into it musically, and I don't guess you caught the research we had done. We found some new connections between things and a new path, and I'll talk to you about it privately sometime, because we kind of already gone over it. I don't want to rehash it.
Hey,
But
bro, I was sending you messages, man. You gotta look into Roy Cohn, Trump Pepe on Google.
yeah, I saw that, and we didn't make that connection, but it's all interconnected. Pepe and Keck, and then Argos and Argos Vu. It's all is this really weird new kind of connection that is new. It's 2019 since August. Like, it's kind of gone a new direction.
Well,
And
I think it's interesting that Argus Vu is with All Seeing Eye, and so is the first frog.
yeah, Pepe, and then the connection to the Bible with Exodus and Revelations. It's
I
just
might
a
not have made
really
that clear. The
What
actual
about-
star, that they called First Frog was known as an all-seeing eye.
Well, what about the reigning frogs card from the Illuminati card deck?
That's actually another great predict. And really, this is what it's all come down to tonight: is an idea of a next level predictive programming, something we might have accidentally stumbled onto, that we might be able to say, hey, we kind of like we started talking about this, and now look at it. And it all started from this evening. I'll just to rehash a little bit from Hong Kong using Pepe the Frog as their main mantra. In the rebellion against their government, and that connection between Pepe and Keck, and then we dug into the topic of the show for tonight. Say it again for me, Aaron, please. She's not here.
Well, you want to know one thing that's really bizarre, you guys? Not only is there one Pepe frog in the Illuminati card deck, there's actually two Illuminati frog cards. One is the Frog God.
Keck.
Yep. So the idol are both frightened. The idols are both frightening and silly, and no one knows why the masters keep them around. You may interfere with a privileged attack on either side. No other players may interfere unless they use... Oh god, I got all these pop-ups, damn it. Interference is an action for each group that interferes and uses this card in action for the frog god. And the other is Reign of Frogs. So there are 2 Pepe related frog cards.
Is that Rain, RAIN, or REIGN?
Just type in Pepe Illuminati card.
It's not Egyptian prophecy. It's it's not.
Well,
But now you also have Exodus 8:4, and the frogs will come upon you and all of your officials.
Oh, and by the way, Josh, maybe you can help me. I don't know if you can. I've tried actually stop streaming, but my OBS seems to be frozen, and I'm streaming right now. Your stream is streaming on my channel. So
I guess I would exit Control Alt Delete and bring up Task Manager, and then shut down OBS. That would do it for you. And hey, Rufus, I just want to say, man, like I wasn't trying to be a dick. I'm very upfront with
I know
my words.
I know you had a big plan for tonight, and I wasn't trying to step on your toes, bro.
Hey, it's no worries, and I honestly I appreciate you acknowledging it, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
All right, so help me out here. Control Alt Delete. Let me see.
It'll bring up Task Manager. You're gonna look for Task Manager
Control
when you
Alt
do that.
Delete is your friend.
Because I've already tried like right clicking on the icon to close the tab, and it's not. My OBS is frozen right now. Let me see. Control
Alt Delete.
Pull the cord out.
Can you go to the processes tab? Did you already go there?
Once you go to Control Alt Delete and you got your task manager up, you go to your processes and then you look up your OBS and then you highlight it and you hit End Task.
Yes.
I know this is going to sound fucking stupid, but I can't find the damn delete. I got Control Alt. Where's my
top right?
So backspace. So my backspace.
No, it's delete.
Oh,
it's
there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. I see it. All right. Lock, switch users, sign out, task manager.
Task manager.
Okay. OBS is currently active.
Right click on it.
All streams
There's
recording will be shut down. Are you sure you want to do exit?